sharp out of the gate, especially Detroit's Isiah Thomas, 8 for 38 shooting in his first 2 games, and nicked up after he butted heads with B.J. Armstrong. He would return, but Michael was there, of course, down the lane. Bulls up by 2 after 1, and Jordan steps outside for the 3. Bulls up 6, 38-32, low scoring first half. Isiah, after getting stitches, comes back and catches fire. One-on-one with B.J. Armstrong, uses him, gets the bump and gets the shot to go. And the Pistons getting back in. Now time running down. Third quarter, watch Isiah work out of the double team, throw up a prayer, and find the answer. And the Pistons led by 1 after 3. Look at it one more time. Isiah had 15 in the third quarter alone. Now the game tied at 86. Michael to win off the iron. Detroit will have a chance to win. They go to the hot hand. Isiah, he drew iron, and we go to overtime with Ron Rothstein's team. And in OT, Joe Dumars takes over. Watch the lean and then the fading shot over the outstretched Jordan, and the Pistons lead by 2. Time running down, 7 seconds. Dumars again off the screen, hits an 18-footer. Pistons by 1, 4 seconds left. That is Michael time.
Inbounds a cart right to Jordan. Time winding down. Michael for 3. Yeah! 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 Yes! 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 A winner! Unbelievable!
What else is new? Michael at the buzzer, 13 of 24 shooting for his 37 points, and a great one in overtime. Chicago wins by 2. Isiah had 32, Dumars 22. The Pistons have lost 6 in a row at the stadium.
The Heat and the Pistons. John Salley, remember 1990, back-to-back championships. He was part of that with the Pistons. This time around facing his old teammates for the first time as a member of the Heat. First half, Salley hits his first shot of the game. He had 11 points. And, of course, he plays some D, stuffing Isiah on the drive. 4 blocked shots for Salley. Dumars the hot hand, throwing up the three-pointer. Ron Rothstein now on the other side of the court. Burton to Rice, and Salley with a strong finish. He had 29 for Miami. Second half, though, the Pistons fire up. Dumars, 3-ball, side pocket. He had 29. Not a great homecoming for Salley, but good to see the old pals as the...
For Detroit, Isiah Thomas driving. Ron Harper is driving, I should say, and collides with Isiah. The result, a deep bruise in the left leg. Isiah Thomas would not return. Late fourth, Pistons down to Joe Dumars to Orlando Woolridge. Game tied at 103. Closing seconds, same score. Joe D has it stripped by Harper. Chance for the Clips to win, but the pass was too far ahead. Woolridge intercepts. We go to overtime. In the OT, Ron Rothstein's team scores just 3 points, and Danny Manning takes over. Great pass to Ron Harper for the layup. 21 for Harper. 21 for Manning, and Isiah didn't come back. And without Zeke, they were pretty weak in OT. Clips win by 9. After the 0-3 start, LA now has won 3 of their last 4. Dennis Rodman also missed this game, tendonitis in his right knee. Another big man, Dikembe Mutombo against Detroit. Dan Issel, the Nugget coach, looking for good news, doesn't get it here. An injury to Bryant Stith, the #1 draft pick, 13 overall, breaks a bone in his foot, out until the All-Star break. Things do get better on the court. Reggie Williams to LaFonso Ellis. The hoop and the foul, 7 points in a minute and a half, and the Nuggets lead by 1. Second half, it's more Reggie Williams off the pass from Chris Jackson. It's a Reggie slam, and then Reggie will return the favor. The long pass, this time to his fellow Hoya alum, says, who needs the French Nationals beating Georgetown? We're doing fine in the NBA. Denver wins by 12. Mutombo, as you see, good numbers. The Nuggets snap a 5-game slide. First win since opening night. Detroit has lost 4 of 5, and Rodman and Isiah Thomas both out with injuries. Charlotte in Detroit to take on the Pistons, and Dennis Rodman back from his mini suspension, doing what he does best. Watch the worm, box out LJ, and get the board to start the break. This looks a little bit like the old Pistons. Isiah to Lanier is going to spot up. He always gets that open space and always hits the jumper. Really did look like the old Pistons early. Watch Zeke. The good bounce pass. You catch it? Nope. Dennis has it. Using the window for 2. Rodman again on the drive. But this time, Alonzo Mourning says, get out of here. The rookie had 5 blocks, and the Hornets come back. Del Curry had 21 in the second half, 26 for the game. But despite the return of Rodman, same old thing for the Pistons. They lose. Charlotte has won 5 in a row. Their first win ever at the Palace, and they are 3 games over 500. That's never happened before as they beat Detroit by 4.
Detroit brought a streak of their own in as well. 7 straight losses, a foul game and a foul-plagued game. Charles Oakley, the enforcer. The Knicks whistled for 31 fouls. Off the miss by Joe Dumars, Oakley again. Oakley with the hack job on Dennis Rodman. Rodman, 20 rebounds tonight. Rodman helped force the Knicks into 4 tees. Yes, Pistons led by 18 at halftime. Rodman for 3 if you're scoring at home. Good. 10-zip run in the third. Joe Dumars had 23 to lead all scorers, including the off-balance jumper in traffic. Ronnie Rothstein. Thanks, Bennett Salvatore, for an easy night. Then Detroit whistled for 29 fouls. Basically an ugly game if you had tickets to it, but Detroit will take the victory any way they can.
Team in the bottom of the Central. Meanwhile, the Sixers, bottom of the Atlantic. Here we go, Isiah Thomas. Bottom of the net as he drives and lays it in. 23 points for Isiah on the night. Pistons with a big lead early, but the Sixers would get sloppy, and the Pistons would take advantage. Olden Polynice the steal and the bucket, and Detroit's lead was still 6. But third period off the miss, Sixers on the run. Johnny Dawkins, nice feed to Andrew Lang, who throws it down. And the Pistons' lead was still just 6. Late going, Sixers down now by just 3. Jeff Hornacek in control of the ball, tries the outside 3 to tie. It will not go. Detroit was able to get the ball and run out the clock. They win it 101-99. Joe Dumars led him with 25.
The Pistons focusing on Shaquille O'Neal inside, double and triple teaming him at times. Shaq still going to the hole with authority. Green leaves it out for him, and he slams it through. O'Neal only had 17 points in this game. Rodman tough on the boards, and he also threw up a 3. Shaq and Rodman hustling, hitting the boards and each other hard all night. But Dennis Scott with the double teaming on Shaq, he was getting open and hitting some 3-pointers. The Magic have the lead. Detroit in the second half with Woolridge leading the rally behind his back. A little showtime for the Pistons. They were up 10 until Dennis Scott hit another 3 to cut it down. It was a 1-point game. Then Dumars takes over the next 6 points. In fact, Joe Dumars had a season-high 39. As the Pistons went on to win at 13 of his points, came in the final 3.5 minutes. Rodman, 22 rebounds. Orlando, 14 3-pointers. That's a team record, 2 shy of the NBA record.
The Cavs, they had Mark Price back in their game in Auburn Hills, and Price looked good early. Looked like his hip pointer had healed. He drains the 3. He had 12 points. But Price would miss the 4th because he re-aggravated the injury. Joe Dumars leading the Pistons off the dribble, and then the 3. Dumars had 28. Then it was Joe doing his stuff on defense, the steal off of Price, and then the outlet to Isiah, who passes to the Big O for the big jam. Then with time running down in the third period, check out Danny Young, the half-court shot at the buzzer goes. Pistons go on to win this one, 107-103. Rebound man Dennis Rodman, 21 boards, the 7th.
As Isiah Thomas, the no look to Olden Polynice. You get a pass like that, you better make it. Orlando Woolridge finds Dumars back door. Pistons by 14 after 1, by 7 at the half, though. Third quarter, the Knicks come on. Off the poor pass, Doc Rivers on the break to Patrick Ewing to Rolando Blackman. 14-2 run, the Knicks by 2. Dennis Rodman didn't give up, though. Big block, in your face, Patrick Ewing. Fourth quarter, Knicks bench the difference. Greg Anthony to John Starks, 3-pointer. Good. And then again on the break. Mason to Anthony for the layup. The Knicks win 95-88. They outscored the Pistons 32-16 in the fourth quarter to win it. They're 10-1 at home, and the Knicks bench outscored the Pistons 22-0 in the fourth quarter.
His best game of the year, goes into the crowd, just saves it, keeps it alive, and Gerald Glass will use the glass for 2. Zeke had 16 assists on the night. Dennis Rodman also big numbers. He's now leading the NBA again, 21 boards in the game. Third quarter, the Palace Guards, what a night. Joe Dumars with the 3. He had 32 points. Now watch Dominique in the circle here as he goes for this rebound either on the back of Olden Polynice or on the arm of Dennis Rodman. He injures his finger. Matter of fact, he fractures the 4th finger on his right hand. Dominique, who was hurt last year with the Achilles injury, the league's #2 scorer, out 4 to 6 weeks.
Mars bringing it up and then loses it. Wayne Farrell hits off the bench. He had 16. The Hawks have the lead 29-23. Second quarter, Travis Mays, the 3-pointer. The Hawks lead 59-41. But don't mess with Bill. Third quarter, Laimbeer. The foul line jumper. The Pistons close to within 5. Still in the third quarter, Dennis Rodman shoots, misses. Laimbeer, the follow that goes. It's a 5-point difference. Third quarter, Isiah feeding Laimbeer the trailing jump shot. It's a 3-point game. Then in the fourth quarter, the Hawks with a 1-point lead. Look at the time. Thomas shoots, misses, but Laimbeer is there with an 1/8 of a 10th of a second to go. If I said that right, I was so excited. The shot Bill Laimbeer, 0.8 of a second is what I meant, and the Pistons win it 89-88.
The Pacers went to Detroit and got waxed. The Pistons dominated the boards and turned the screws tight on defense, and it combined to produce a transition game that buried Indiana. In fact, there were skid marks all over the court, so Isiah Thomas took a mop and said, I'll clean that up, because they were really burning rubber here. Look at this. Pistons set the tone. Vern Fleming's in and out. Bill Laimbeer rebounds to Thomas, to Joe Dumars, and the rest is history. Late second quarter, Thomas steals the ball from Detlef Schrempf and finds Dennis Rodman on the break for the jam. The Pistons had increased their lead to a 15-point bulge at the half. Second half, more of the same. Thomas takes it away from Fleming, and after momentarily losing control, regains it for the lay-in Pistons, their highest point total of the year, 122 big ones, bouncing Indiana.
We're celebrating early. Orlando Woolridge on the slam. Detroit is playing with confidence again. They've won 4 straight. Joe Dumars, look at that behind-the-back pass to Rodman. As for Otis Thorpe at the free throw line, an air ball. Rockets 11 second quarter points. Detroit guards Joe Dumars and Isiah making it happen. Dumars a 23-point night. Then it was Isiah's turn to look like he once did. Thomas had 22. How good have things gone? There's Mark Randall, the former Jayhawk. Great shot there. Pistons win this one easily, just like their championship years. The Pistons are winning with defense. They're giving up just 92.9 points a game during their winning stretch.
Grabs his own rebound, puts it up strong over Billy Laimbeer, and gets the goal and the foul. Closing seconds first half, Isiah had 25, including that steal, and cut the Charlotte lead to 2 at the break. It was 2 for Charlotte after 3, and in the fourth, Del Curry the lay-in. Then watch David Wingate with the quick hands and the steal. Del Curry picks it up, gets it to Kenny Gaddison for the slam. Now, late in the game, tempers for Mourning and Laimbeer pushing and shoving, and some exchange blows there, both thrown out, and Bill with a salute to the folks in Carolina as the Hornets salute a 12-point victory. Alonzo's best game in his young career. 27 points, a career-best 18 boards.
The rejuvenated Pistons in Cleveland. A little bit rough in this game. Craig Ehlo coming down hard. Compliments of Dennis Rodman. Now look at the bottom of your screen. Bill Laimbeer giving Larry Nance an elbow, and Nance says, hey, you can't do that. Fourth quarter, Cavs on a 14-zip run. Wilkins, the drive. And 2. Mark Price drawing the double team. That doesn't matter. He finds Larry Nance, who hits the J. Nance had 27, 12 of those in the fourth. Mark Price also just unstoppable in this game. The drive, he finished with 28 and 12 assists. Cleveland wins 98-89. It helped their cause because Detroit's Isiah Thomas missed the game so he could attend the funeral of his father-in-law.
At the Palace, the Bullets and the Pistons. Watch this. Bill Laimbeer in trouble, just kind of heaves it up there, and Big Bill got it to go. 19 points for Laimbeer. Joe Dumars alone. 3-ball. Side pocket and count it. 36 points for Dumars. He's having the best season, offensive season of his career. Again, the 3-pointer. Late fourth quarter, the play of the day. That's another network, but you get the idea. Look at the save, the flip. Orlando Woolridge had 29. It's worth another look. Isiah in trouble, flips it out, and then Rodman got it on to Woolridge, and Rodman said, hey, give us a hand for that. The Pistons playing well. Rodman, the robo-rebounder with 23 boards. Jeff Rulin, the ex-Bullet, saw some action for the Pistons.
Detroit looking to stay perfect against the Magic. Dennis Scott, the backdoor alley-oop to the Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal using poor old Jeff Rulin here for 2 on the foul. Looked like the Magic were on their way to their first win against the Pistons. Magic up by 19. Second half, Dumars turns hot after shooting 1 for 9. He hits the 3. Then Dumars again from long range. He hit 7 of 8 in the third quarter. He had 17 points in that frame. Dumars unstoppable. He finished with 32 on the night. The worm also big. Rodman from Isiah. Just 10 points, but 16 boards, and the Pistons win it by 1. Rodman's defense, another reason why Detroit came back for the win. He held the Shaq without a field goal in the final 15 minutes of play.
Found a place for the Southern Cal rookie, Harold Miner, starting it with D and finishing with the slam. Just before the half, Bimbo Coles fires it to Miner. A nice-looking reverse move there. Ron Rothstein impressed. Bimbo Coles with a shot to give the Heat a 12-point lead. Then Cycli blocking Bill Laimbeer. Time winding down. Cycling the turnaround over Laimbeer. Miami led by 6, and that's the way the winning margin wound up. The Pistons brought to their knees, helping Dumars defensively, and he helped shut down Danny Manning, who in the last 5 games had been averaging 26, only had 17 in this one, and Stanley Roberts can't get it to go either. Big headache for Larry Brown, but watch Jeff Ruhlin. He doesn't quite get the warm-up suit all the way off. And Bill Laimbeer says that's maybe why you're not starting. Dumars lit it up, though, in the second half. He hustles here. This guy really should maybe deserve to start in the All-Star game. 24 points in this game as he keeps that alive to lay it in. Rodman not only defensively, but throws up a 3-ball corner pocket and gets that to go. 10 points for the Worm, and the Pistons rolling along.
Seeing the number of Bob Lanier. To the action against Golden State, Tim Hardaway with 2 of his 30. Warriors by 10 at the half. It was a rough night in the Pistons beginning in the third quarter. Bill Laimbeer does get the rebound here, but he can't find the bucket. Not once, twice. Bill not looking like Bob Lanier there. Mark Aguirre then shooting the 3. Watch Dennis Rodman. He has been awesome off the boards. Gets the rebound, puts it back. 26 boards, 12 points for Dennis. Fourth quarter, Mullen drilling the 3. Mullen with 32. Warriors win this one by 4. They've now won 7 of their last 8. 32 points by Dumars couldn't prevent Detroit from losing their 2nd straight at the Palace.
To the Palace of Auburn Hills, Kurt Gibson, former Tiger, looking for a team. Late second quarter, there's Rodman. Defensively on David Robinson. He has to try to stop the center on the other team sometimes. Didn't stop David there. Spurs up by 12. And this Lloyd Daniels 3 was a huge one because the Pistons were coming back, but it gave the Spurs the boost to go up 12 after 3. Rodman on the boards, the Worm on the window doing it again. Gets it from Robinson, but misses the hook. And also gets the boards on the defensive end. 26 rebound night for Rodman, but there weren't too many misses from the Spurs. Dale Ellis leads everyone with 23, and Luke might as well jump. Spurs are playing great. Now 8-2 under John Lucas since he took over for Tark. San Antonio wins by 18 at the Palace.
Garfield hurt at the controls. First quarter, Dumars, look at this great passing. Isiah ends up with the short jumper and hits. Then Thomas blowing by Mike Isolino, pulling up 15 first-half points for Isiah, 17-point Piston lead. Donald Hodge turnaround, so you can't blame Adubado for that. And you can't blame him for this. Sean Rooks on the missed dunk. They shot 35% of the first half. Watch this play by Terry Mills. In major trouble, down low. Where's he going to go with it? To Mark Aguirre, who hits the jumper. And that does deserve a wow. And the Pistons deserve the win. Isiah had 20. Mills, 18 points off the bench and 11 rebounds. The Mavericks 0 and 14.
In the first half, there is the Worm on the window. Joe Dumars off the miss. But Dennis is there with the rebound and the putback. 6 points, 11 boards in the first half. 4 minutes left in the first half. Rodman goes up for a rebound. He'll get his 11th of the game, but come down limping, injures his right calf. He said he heard something pop. Felt like someone shot him. He says he thinks something's torn in the calf. He was wheeled off in the wheelchair, left the locker room on crutches. Ron Rothstein will find out more on Friday. Well, he didn't find out a lot in the second half, except that his team needs Rodman in there defensively. He stopped Dominique and stopped Stacey Augmon, who were dominant. Then Snoopy Graham will feed Dwayne Farrell with a great pass, an even better lay-in. The Hawks outscored Detroit 60-37 in the second half, and Isiah Thomas was stopped by Mookie Blaylock, who had 8 assists, 5 steals, and 22 points, as the Hawks win by 17. 4 in a row now for Atlanta. Woolridge had 23 to lead the Pistons. Laimbeer had just 3.
It's making it happen for Philly. Tim Perry getting the pass and hitting the hook. Perry hit his first 4 shots. He was 9 for 9 from the field. Pistons had trouble finding the net. Mills, starting in place of Rodman, gets blocked once, twice by Manute Bol. Bol with 6 of the Sixers, 14 blocks. Wow. Second half, all 6 is Hornacek on the break to Perry for the slam. Yes, Hornacek, that other son, you know, in that Barkley deal, he's doing quite well. 25 points, 11 of 15 from the field on this night. And then it's Perry just finishing it off. Perry had 21. 76ers, an awesome win, 123-108.
And the Rockets, it was his 30th birthday, and Kenny Smith had plenty of gifts for him. The nice dish there, Houston up 10 after 1. 11 assists for Smith, including behind the back to the Dream. Rockets up 11 at the half, and the guards have keyed the 6th consecutive win streak for Houston, again on Thursday night. From outside the stripe, Kenny Smith spots up. He had 1 of 3 threes right there. Vernon Maxwell also 3 threes as well, and even Matt Bullard goes downtown. The Rockets led by 17 in the 4th, but Joe Dumars leading Detroit back. He had 32 points, and this hoop gets the Pistons within 4, but crunch time, go to the birthday boy. Hakeem at age 30, looking strong inside, unstoppable, 14 of 22 from the field. The only thing Hakeem couldn't do on this evening was blow out the trick candles on his birthday cake. Rockets are now, as you see, 5-0 on Hakeem's birthday, despite 62 from the Palace guards. Detroit's now 0-9 without Dennis Rodman, and after losing 7 of their own, the Rockets have won 7.
There have been a lot of beautiful days down there these days. Avery Johnson, entry pass. Sean Elliott, reverse layup. Good. Next possession, Robinson swats. Terry Mills, get it out of my neighborhood. Get it ahead to Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson with the layup. Avery Johnson didn't like all that point guard maligning that was going on before Lucas got there. Vinny Del Negro, tough drive. Tougher layup, Spurs by 3. Del Negro, the same type of situation. Isiah Thomas, watch him come up with a pinch. He is a one-eyed jack after the other day. We'll see that. Isiah Thomas pinches it, then goes behind his back and gets the layup to go. Pretty finger roll right there. The Spurs, though, still leading by 1. Joe Dumars, Joe D, misfires on the tough baseline shot. Avery Johnson to the trailing Dale Ellis. And that's a sweet move right there. The Spurs leading 58-54. Ronnie Rothstein has his work cut out for him, and he better hurry up quick.
Where Charles Barkley was having a few laughs with Olden Polynice off the injured list. First quarter, Charles with time running down on the shot clock, the fake, and the basket. Charles with 24. Detroit got their offense primarily from this guy, Joe Dumars, 36 for him. Pistons up 3. First half, time running down. Phoenix lets the 3 fly. Phoenix getting it to Danny Ainge, who hits at the buzzer. Phoenix by 6 at the half. In the third, it's Thunder Dan Marley's turn. 1 of 3 straight threes for Marley. That put Phoenix up by 12. The Suns were rolling. Danny Ainge, the lob inside to Richard Dumas, 2 of his 22. Paul Westphal feeling ill because the Pistons were on their way back. Joe Dumars hitting the 3. Pistons were within 2 seconds to go with a chance to win. The ball goes to Terry Mills for the 3-point shot. In and out. Mills, an 18% three-point shooter. He almost had that, but Dan Marley and the Suns escape with a 2-point win in Detroit.
9 turnovers tonight, and they came in a variety of angles. And even when he got the shot off, he had problems. The brick, he went 4 of 14 from the floor. This one rejected by Sean Kemp. The Palace of Horrors, Vincent Askew, sends the captain's shot out of the way. Second quarter, Derek McKee to Sean Kemp. And Kemp had 22 points on the night. George seems relaxed. Not when he saw this. Mark Aguirre for 3. He had 20 on the night. Late in the fourth quarter, Derek McKee putting the Sonics up by 4. Pistons down 2. You see the time left. Dumars to tie it. Pistons, a loser at home by the final of 103-101, 9th loss in their last 11 games.
Detroit, Ron Rothstein against his old team. John Salley against his old team, slamming in Olden Polynice's face. Salley had 23. What about Terry Mills? 5 straight double-doubles, another great effort. Career high 28, forget the walk. Pistons up 1 after 1. Fourth quarter, it's time for some of the minor moments. More terrific play from Harold Miner in this game. Not a terrific shot from Isiah Thomas with the Pistons up 1 and the clock running down, and on the other end, an easy layup for the Heat for Grant Long as he puts back the Miner miss, and the lead for Miami is 1. And the pass gets away at the end of the game as Isaiah's pass to Orlando Woolridge falls to the wayside, as do the Pistons, struggling as Miami wins for the first time in 7 tries at the Palace.
And find out, homecoming for Daly and 2 Detroit natives, Terry Mills, the former net. Derek Coleman from Detroit's Northern High also in there. Former net Bernard King taking his warm-ups off. Bernard did get in this game. He did lay it up and did get the foul. He had 8 points. Emil Robinson, who went to the University of Michigan, lays in and gets the foul. Second half, Derek Coleman, the block. Then the pass to Kenny Anderson. Right there for the lay-in. Anderson had a nice 28 points, thank you. As Bernard King looks on. Do you know that Derek Coleman had 21 points, 17 boards. Drazen Petrovic, 13. Kenny Anderson, 28.
Del Curry to Kendall Gill, to Kenny Gaddison, back to Gill. Gill had 27. Alonzo Mourning, doing what Alonzo does best, that 6 blocks. Out to Muggsy, Johnny Newman. And just like that, they open up a comfortable lead. Then the exclamation points, that's LJ. Larry Johnson had 22, and Charlotte had a relatively easy win.
A calf injury, and Rodman pulled down 12 rebounds in the game, and here's one of them fighting for the board, getting it out to Joe Dumars for the three-pointer. The Pistons trailing by one after one. But then Shaq, moving past Laimbeer and Rodman, gives the Magic a 9-point lead. Final seconds of the first half, Isiah to Dumars, the fadeaway at the buzzer, and they were tied at the break. In the third quarter, the Pistons coming in on Shaq, but he dishes it out to Skiles. Orlando up 4. Then defensively, Isiah. Shaq swats it away. Fourth quarter, more Shaq magic. Skiles to the big man. He had 46 points in this game. Stuffs that through for a 2-point Orlando lead. They were up 4 with the ball. Shaq intentionally fouled. He misses one of 2 free throws, and then 12 seconds to play. Pistons down 1 until Mark Aguirre threw up the 3 and gave Detroit a 2-point lead. Final seconds now. Nick Anderson to Shaq inside. He is fouled. That tied the game, a chance to win it in regulation, but he can't hit the free throw. They go on into overtime. Dumars sparks the Pistons. He had 39. And they win in OT.
It's in 13 minutes. Story of this game, Miami up front. Grant Long right around and across Bill Laimbeer. The Heat by 18. Then Glenn Rice, 2 of his 33. The game dominated early by Miami. Isiah Thomas was injured. Then Orlando Woolridge fractured his hand on a backboard going for a block. He's out for a month. But the Pistons hang in there. Mark Aguirre coming back. The 3 there, and how about another one that gets the Pistons within 6? John Salley can't believe his old teammate, but Aguirre puts up another 3. This one missed. Rodman, one of his 17 boards, kicks out to Joe D. A long 3 that Dumars drains. Pistons back in it, but it wasn't close enough as the old teammates say, hi, how you doing? But the Miami Heat win by 4. Sixers down 7. Into the 4th. Then the other Shaq, Charles Shackelford to Johnny Dawkins. The Sixers are within 2, but the Pistons pull away down the stretch. Mark Aguirre gets the start, gets the steal. Off to Terry Mills, who gets the bucket. And the Pistons go on to win 101-89. Mills had 19, Aguirre 24. Sixers have lost 9 of their last 10. And the Philadelphia Shaq, 16 minutes, 2 points.
Robertson making his debut in a Detroit uniform at 9 points to the former Buck. Mark Aguirre hitting the 3. The Bucks were down 1 with 36 seconds left in the game. So they look to Blue Edwards. If he hits it, they have the lead by 1, and he does. Pistons a chance to win it. Joe Dumars, who scored 43 the other night, had 22 in this one. Can't get it to go. And the Pistons on the losing end as Milwaukee ends their 5-game losing streak. Brad Lohaus had 27, Frank Brakowski adding 17, as we'll have more of the NBA a little bit.
Scary moment for Detroit. Check out the center of the screen. Dennis Rodman goes down. Re-injured his right calf. It looked bad at first. He'd be out about 10 minutes, but he came back. Then Mark Aguirre strained his left arch. He did not come back. In the third, D. Brown, the steal from Joe Dumars. Brown goes in all alone, lightly slams it. Celtics up by 1. Big night for this guy, Terry Mills. Rodman to Mills, who drains the J. Then it's Mills again, this time off the nice feed from Isiah. Mills with a career-high 41 points. Celtics fight back, down 3. Kevin Gamble pulls up and buries the 3. We're tied over a minute to go. Pistons go to who else? Mills, why not? He drains the 3. 1-point Pistons lead. But this is where the Celtics lost it. On this play, when it got physical between the X-Man and Dennis Rodman. And Rodman doing a slight acting job. X-Man getting the technical. He gets thrown out of the game. The Pistons hit the free throws, and that was the story. Looking to snap out of it against Detroit. Detroit kept it tight, though, thanks to this guy, Isiah, with 17 points in the first half. But Utah showing some pretty passing. Malone to Kristoviak to Carl. Jazz by 5 at the half, 16 for Carl in the first half. Second half, Jazz kept it going, but watch this. Bill Laimbeer at the left of your screen. Stockton with a steal, but Mike Brown runs over Laimbeer. Stockton scores, Jazz by 17. As for Laimbeer, he left the game in the third. X-rays on his lower back later for him. Bill didn't come back, but the Pistons did. Thomas for 3, a season-high 40 points for him. Pistons down by 10, but Rodman makes it interesting. Detroit within 6, but Utah held on. The Malone alley-oop to Karl Malone. Karl at 38 points, Jeff 22. Utah wins this one 106-98, despite Isiah's season high in.
The Bucks starting strong. Eric Murdoch, and the kiss off the glass. He had 25. Then it's Murdoch again to Blue Edwards. Bucks by 11 after 3. And then the Bradley Center caved in. Isiah, Dumars, Olden Polynice. Former Buck, Alvin Robertson. past Brad Lohaus in the hoop, and Mike Dunleavy says, I don't need to check the stats. We were a loser. They failed miserably in the fourth period, 98-91. Joe Dumars, 4 threes, 35 points.
5 games over 500. Wayne Fonts recruiting Reggie White to the Lions. Close game here, fourth quarter. Melvin Newbern to Dennis Rodman, to Newbern to Olden Polynice, and the Pistons leading late. And then Polynice fakes out Eldon Campbell and scores, and watch his reaction. He, on the way down the floor, tells the Lakers they're going to choke, but the Pistons were the ones that gagged. Vlade Divac fighting for the rebound. He gets the hoop. He had 25. What a country. Lakers leading by 1. The Pistons respond. Polynice with the block to Terry Mills, to Newbern, and Joe Dumars, who scored 41, gives the Pistons a 2-point lead. The Lakers down 3 under a minute to go. James Worthy ties it with a 3-pointer, and then the Lakers lead. Pistons down 2. Mills open for the tying layup, and it does not go as time runs out on the Pistons. A painful loss for Detroit. The Lakers shot 63%, their second best effort of the season, and the 123 points were the most given up by the Pistons at home this year.
Palace. Terry Mills goes off in the first quarter, 7 for 7 from the floor. He pumps, and over Scott Williams, he hits. Pistons lead by as many as 17, but a certain Mr. Jordan may have something to say about that. With the line drive going down, he has 10 in the quarter. And then Jordan does it on the defensive end, the steal and the feed to Darrell Walker. And it is tied after 3. Joe Dumars takes the high route to a milestone. More on that in a minute. It's tied at 95. Chicago down by 1 late. Scottie Pippen tries to put the Bulls ahead. It rings out, goes over the top. That's out of bounds. Down 2, Phil Jackson's team gets one more chance with 4 seconds left, but B.J. Armstrong's 55-footer isn't exactly the way he drew it up. And the final is Detroit 101 and Chicago 99. Joe Dumars clears the 10K mark.
First of 5 on the road, and look at the good ball movement. Robertson to Terry Mills for the dunk. Pistons by 10. In the third, the inbounds to the L train. Lionel Simmons, quick double team too late, the dunk. Simmons had 34. In the fourth, Walt Williams from outside hits the 3, and the Piston lead just 1. It's a 3-point lead with 4 seconds left. Here's Spud to tie, send it to OT. It's the back of the rim, and the Pistons win by 3. Joe D had 31 despite the poor shooting from the field.
In the air, or maybe it was something these two guys ate. Dennis Rodman and Mark Eaton with a few love taps and a few more. The Giant looking to crush the Worm. Meantime, the Jazz showing serious signs of life. Stockton to Malone, 1 of 12 assists for Stockton. Then more Jazz stuff. Humphreys, the pass ahead to Corbin, to Malone. Malone with 22 points in this game. Yeah, this game belonged to Utah, and then Dennis thought he'd have some fun with Mr. Eaton, but it was Eaton who was getting the last laugh here with the Rodman air ball. Not much of a sweat for Utah in this one. Karl Malone, John Stockton coming close to recording triple-doubles.
21 rebounds and 9 points. Anthony Peeler, come on, Dennis. The slick passes he will find Byron Scott. Lakers led by 2 at halftime. Second half, back and forth. Sadeo Threet. The pull-up for 3, and he buries it. He had 27. The Lakers stay close. But Joe D with Samo. Dumars 11 of 17 in the fourth period. And the Pistons pick up the victory. Magic Johnson could only watch. The Lakers set a franchise record, losing their 4th in a row at the Forum.
In Oakland, Isiah Thomas, 4 of 14 on the night, but this big hoop put Detroit up by a point, 89-88. But the Warriors come back. Latrell Sprewell to Tyrone Hill for the hoop and some harm. Hill's free throw gives the Warriors a 2-point lead. But here's Thomas again, the assist to Olden Polynice, who slams it down to tie the game at 91. Minute 35 left. Joe Dumars for the lead. No. Billy Owens the rebound. Outlets to Sprewell, who scores over Isiah Thomas. The Warriors up 2. Still up 2 are the Warriors. Sprewell on defense, blocking Isiah Thomas' shot. Had it gone, it would have tied the game. It didn't go, and the Warriors win 96-91. So the Detroit Pistons lose again. Billy Owens, 19 points, 11 rebounds. Latrell Sprewell, 17 points and 10 assists.
Posting up for the rebound, but instead he gets an armful of David Wingate and, oh, get a room. Rodman had a monster night. The hero of the game was Isiah Thomas, the turnaround J to end the half. Rodman with the long outlet, and Isiah nails the J at 21 points at halftime. The game was tied. Second half, Isiah off the steal. High off glass for 2. Late in the game, Isiah another steal. and he goes coast to coast. He tied his career high with 40 points, and the Pistons win it. He tied his season high, rather, with 40.
Elo finds Brad Daugherty right in Dennis's face. Cavs down by 2. Isiah dominated this game. Sweet move in the paint. He had 21 at half. Pistons up by 15. Lenny saying they could use me. Isiah. He used Mark Price this afternoon. Pistons up by 3 after 3. Dennis Rodman, we know he can rebound. Well, Dennis says, all right, forget that. I'm not passing it to anybody. I'm going to shoot. Great rebounder. We'll work on the shooting. Then Isiah, the pass of the night, pass of the week, and maybe pass of the year. Gerald Glass on the receiving end. Zeke had 31 points, 10 assists. And the Cavs' lowest point total on the season. They shot just 38%.
Shaq was hoping to have a say in that, but it turned out to be Shaq's worst shooting night of his career. Pistons were all over him. He couldn't get anything to fall. Shaq just 2 of 11 from the field, but his teammates helped pick up the slack, as they should. Shaq the miss, but Greg Kite is there for the follow. Pistons down 16 at the half. In the third, Dennis Rodman finds Isiah Thomas. Boy, has he been hot. Isiah with his third straight 30-plus game. Pistons within 6. But Dennis Scott helps Orlando pull away. Check out this basket. 26 for Scott on the night. And then this 3 helped put the Magic back up by 14. Then it gets interesting. Frustration setting in for O'Neal. Wrapped up here by Laimbeer. Alvin Robertson tries to play peacemaker. Bad move. Shaq doesn't buy it. Lets Alvin know he's just a chipmunk. And then Shaq decks him. Wow. Shaq's first career NBA punch. Wow. The bench is clear. It gets interesting. Even Matty Gukas gets involved. Not by choice, though. Magic win the game.
And the Pistons and Clyde Drexler on the Wheaties box and in the lane for a quick 2. Jerome Kersey getting him there. 33 points in the game for Clyde Drexler, who gets into it with who else? Don't mess with Bill. Laimbeer and the Pistons were fighting mad. They come out firing. The three-pointer. Bill had 14. Pistons a 2-point lead at halftime. Second half, Joe Dumars, a floater that goes. They build an 89-82 lead after 3, and then Dumars another three-pointer, and that had him dancing in the aisles in Motown. The Pistons tying a team record with 12 three-pointers and 25 attempts, 5 of those.
Wearing number 0 because somebody stole his uniform at the Detroit airport. Grant hits a jumper in any number. 13 points in the first half, Bullets by 4 at the break, but they had to face the one-man team, Joe Dumars. Pulls up over Rex Chapman, not appearing in your picture anymore after that move. Then Dumars leads Pistons on a fourth-quarter surge from way downtown. You're tied at 67. Dumars with the corner thing and the kiss off the rim. We said kiss off the rim for a reason. Pistons 11-1 run to start the fourth, seals the victory. Detroit 91-79. So if you see somebody in Detroit.
Pistons at New Jersey. Ramil Robinson, nice dish, one of his 11 assists to Chris Morris. Joe Dumars, 33, gives the Pistons a 5-point lead. Then the Nets trailing by 2, 28 seconds left. Robinson with a steal. They get it back to him, 2 of his 19. But then Robinson on Isiah, committing a foul that turned out to be costly and deadly. Isiah 2 free throws, so Chris Morris needs this for the tie, for the win, for anything. He gets nothing and has to like it. The Pistons hang on to beat the Nets. Dumars, his 4th straight 30-plus game. Rodman, 17 rebounds.
And a call, throws the ball against the backboard. He got a tee, got another tee. They threw him out early in the game. Meanwhile, Harvey Grant threw one in the right way. 19 points for Washington. Bullets by 1 at the half. And Danny Young to Terry Mills, who comes right back in and drives through. Mills with 22. Pistons win 106-94. Alvin Robertson played each of the 48 minutes after they tossed Isiah.
In this game, we get physical after Michael showed his physical ability. Late first half, ugliness. Scott Williams gets the ball. Laimbeer rakes him across the eyes. A pushback, retaliation, and the bench is empty, of course. Pushing and shoving, not a lot of punches thrown in this. As the refs try to sort it out, Darryl Walker in street clothes took a shot at Laimbeer. Laimbeer was ejected for this. Isiah and Michael get their troops together and say, let's play hoops. Down 19, the Pistons come back. Olden Polynice the putback. Then Rodman the pump fake, and he hits it. The Pistons get within 1, and then more ugliness. Jordan on the drive after stealing it from Rodman, taken down hard by Dennis. Another scuffle ensues. Ron Rothstein was a little upset, and a few minutes later, he was tossed from the game. Under a minute left. Michael at the line hit clutch free throw. Bulls by 3. Brendan Malone, the assistant, designs a play. Terry Mills for the tie. A rim shot. And the Bulls get out of there with a 98-95 win. Chicago has now won 6 of their last 7 on the road. What a fourth quarter by Stacey King. Big performance off the bench on a night when Pippen was in single digits. Looking for a happy ending, he said, in Motown. Nick pops outside. He had 5 3-pointers, and in the fourth, the Hawks on the road are up 4, but back come the Pistons. Bill Laimbeer, who was fined from that fight with Chicago early last week, to Dennis Rodman for the dunk, game tied at 71. Terry Mills takes over in the fourth quarter. 10 of his 24 in the fourth, including the fadeaway over Neek. Pistons 85-81 lead. Neek needs a 3. Cuts the deficit from 4 to 1. He had 29, but after a couple of free throws, Pistons up 3. Neek for the tie, comes up way short. Good defense by Rodman, who played good defense all game, had 22 boards, and Detroit wins by 3, despite the fact that Neek had 29 and despite the fact that Joe Dumars missed it with stomach problems.
This game, it was physical. A couple of bad boys bumping, Rodman and Mason. Knicks get off to a quick start. Charles Smith blowing by Rodman for 2. Knicks up by as many as 14 in the game. Pistons hung in there, though. Terry Mills on the break to Alvin Robertson, who finds Olden Polynice for the jam. They're within 4 at the half. Second half, after the Pistons tie the game up on this pretty move by Isiah, they go cold. They shot just 3 for 15, and New York took advantage. Doc Rivers off the steal, and Rivers with 2 of his 21, but he'll pay for it. Isiah Thomas frustrated begins kicking Rivers in the head. Isiah said he just was trying to get his foot untangled. Sure, Isiah was kicked out of the game. He better get his wallet ready. Charles Smith, the show from there. Look at that jam. He has really come into his own as a New York Knick. 19 for Smith.
Second quarter, Wilkins, the one-handed roll-in. Pacers go up by 14, make that the Cavs go up by 14. Nance hits the jumper, then Nance again, driving. He's fouled. 9 of 11 from the floor, had 19 points. Cleveland running away with this. Hot Rod Williams with a stuff, and Cleveland wins it easily. Their 9th straight. Rodman had 17 points and 18 rebounds for Detroit. The Pistons have lost 3 straight.
The home court chase with the Knicks. Check out the center of your screen. Isiah leveled by Scottie Pippen. Isiah didn't see Pippen in the high post. Isiah was scoreless in the first half. Jordan gets going in the second, finding Will Perdue underneath. The reverse from Will Perdue, and the Bulls are up 12. But Dennis Rodman sparks the Pistons. Check out the denial on Rodney McCray. Look what the worm does with it. Keeps it alive. Now late fourth. Jordan at the line trying to ice it. Missed some key free throws down the stretch. Bulls up 3. Joe D for 3. And he hits it to tie the game. Game still tied. Pistons chance to win. Dumars. A rim shot. We go to overtime. Joe D came so close to the win. In OT, Rodman guarded Jordan a little bit. So did Dumars. Nobody could stop him. Michael had 8 in OT, and Ron Rothstein. So many rumors about will he be the coach of the Pistons once the season's over. The season close to being over. They lose by 6 in OT. Pippen at 25. Isiah 28.